Okay, good afternoon, Nick Nation, and welcome to another edition of Nick's Dreams, where we talk about our favorite home team, the New York Knicks, and all things Knicks, including our observations of last night's game and what to look forward for tonight's matchup against the Houston Rockets. And to kick us off, I pass it on to Santana.
Good afternoon, Knicks Nation. Welcome to our episode of Knicks Dreams. I'd like to invite you all to, if you have any comments or you want to chime in on the conversation, I welcome you guys and ladies to drop your comments within the chat. And then in a few minutes, I'll be sharing also the actual stream so that, or at least the link to become a panelist if you choose to want to participate in that way. Either way, we welcome your input, your feedback, your questions, your comments, and based on whatever it is that you may drop in there or bring to the surface, we may discuss it. We look forward to it. You're an integral part of this process, and we welcome all Knicks, fans to participate in this process. With that being said, I want to pass the rock to my main man, Bill Stradamus, so he can give us his take on what transpired yesterday between the Knicks and the Wizards. Rock, brother.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Knicks supporters. Good afternoon. I'm in a great mood today. The pom-poms was out. Pom-poms was out 2.0.
Nice.
We basically called it. We all said that, this was a game we were all expecting to win this. And we all expected, what's my man Westbrook to get his. However, we'd run away with it. And he almost had, I think he was 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Nobody else did too much of anything. And, we walked away with it. Of course, the leader of the team led us. He put up numbers that only like LeBron and Jokic are putting up. This guy Randall is doing well. And any talk about whether or not he can play with this and that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but he deferred a lot yesterday and still came up with his numbers. I saw situations where they would give him the ball on the pinch, and he would, instead of going to work, he would force one of these other guys here. Okay, no, you do something, and that worked out for him. Mitch started off having the game of his life until he got hurt, and unfortunately, he's going to be down for a few weeks, and hopefully Noel and Taj can hold it down. And or we might have to take a look at getting, seeing if somebody's out there available who can hold it down for the next 8 weeks. Other than that, I'll save a little more commentary for one of you guys, and I'll go between the legs and down low to the dream.
Thank you very much. I'll come through with the Tomahawk Jam off the window too. Just throw a little extra spice in there. Why not? We basically imposed ourselves in the first and fourth quarters, putting up 30 points. Our defense came to play pretty much. Didn't really have to bring the super tough defense that we normally do bring to these games because they were missing their top scorer. And once you take out 30 plus points a game out of your offense, a team like that, they don't really have much behind that to sustain that minus 30. So, it was a game that we were supposed to take. We always talk about we don't really want to speak in those terms, supposed to or have to, or not must wins, but supposed to wins. It's like, so games that we were definitely supposed to chalk up at a W. But it's nice to know that if we go into a game with that and the other team is coming in with a little less than their normal, that we can just go in and take these games out. Just boom, wipe them out from the beginning to the end, pretty much. I don't really think the game was really on their end so competitive outside of the first 5-10 minutes of the game. Once we got into a flow, we just kind of figured out how we were going to just increase the points that our lead was pretty much throughout. That being said, there was a couple of little things I liked. I liked the fact that we hella took care of the rebounds, 65 to 46. It shows in the stats 75. I'm not sure where the actual numbers come through, but my numbers came out 65-46, which is incredible, and 15 offensive rebounds for us versus keeping them to 9. So that was kind of nice. One-shot possessions. They didn't really have much on offense anyway. Aside the normal guys that were gonna pop. But that being said, I'm gonna underhand pass it to my left. I see the guy cutting out a lane 2.0.
Yeah, I agree with everything so far. I do want to add though that we did. We won every quarter, so that the outcome was never in doubt. We weren't struggling to hang on to the game at the end. There is a different feel with the addition of Rose. As I was discussing with Santana earlier, everything is coming up roses, as the old saying goes.
Yes.
I guess this is our Valentine's gift. We're getting our roses here. We're getting our roses, fellas. At 12 and 15, what is this? A little bit over a quarter of the season gone. We're sitting pretty. We're in the 8th spot, and we could ask for more, but we won't. We just keep it simple. Be happy for where we are, and the fact is that we can look forward for better days. I can't say enough about the addition of Derrick Rose to the team. It has made a world of difference. Since day one, he's taken on that mentoring, responsibility towards those young guys. And, all we need is quickly to calm down a little, take the right shots at the right time, not force anything, and he'll be fine. And Toppin is slowly but surely seeing that he will get the ball if it comes to the basket, So having said that, I'm going to pass it along to Santana.
Yeah, I mean, we got to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, the team did what they were supposed to do. Yes. You're supposed to win against a team like this. You're not supposed to play down to the competition. And so as a result of that, they were able to win, command the game from wire to wire, which is good. And on top of that, Washington has one of the worst defenses in the league too. Mm-hmm. So this would have been catastrophic if the Knicks would have lost it, if they would have played it tight, if they would have had to come back, because this is a game they're supposed to win. And so I'm glad that they did. We had guys that performed at where we expect them to perform. It's a good win. I'm not gonna, get too happy-go-lucky, because this is what's expected, especially from a team like this. The more important thing is that I think now, as a team, this team believes that they should win. See, and that psychologically is very important. Mm-hmm. You would have went back last year. This is a team that would have stepped on the floor thinking, man, I don't think we can win. Mm-hmm. We'll go out and play. I'm going to try to go get mine. But this year, I think this team steps on the court expecting to win, regardless of who the competition is. And that's a good mindset to have, as opposed to having this mindset of, I don't know if we're gonna win. I'm just gonna, go with the flow, see what happens. Guys are stepping up. Randall's been consistent. Derrick Rose is doing, what we expect of him as a player, but even more so as a leader. Because I know his last stint with the Knicks, he was more quiet, more reserved. This time, I see him being more vocal and, trying to direct folks around or give them a little insight or advice in game time. So that's good. That's good. And even having conversations with Tibbs during timeouts, just getting a sense of what the coach wants, and then him coming out on the floor and taking care of business. So, with that being said, I'm gonna pass the rock back to Bill Stradamus, get more on his analysis of the game, and we'll go from there.
Again, we handled business the way we were supposed to, and it was so much so that cats got to get some burn who normally don't get any burn. Mm-hmm. And partially probably because of Mitch going down, which this one player may start to see some regular time now since that happened. It would be, I would think, Knox. I think Knox will be getting a little more burn now that Mitch went down. And we even saw Pinson get some run. Pinson and Rivers. And Rivers had a few DNPs before last night, I believe. Mm-hmm. And he got run. Pinson got run. Knox got some run. But the guy who got a little more run than he was supposed to and did his thing with it. Mm-hmm. Obi-Wan.
Kenobi.
I love when Obi-Wan is out there with Derrick Rose, man.
Yeah.
Because his energy is up. He knows he's going to get the ball.
Yeah.
And, it's just sitting back, looking at it develop right in front of you. It gives you an idea of what could be and what should be. So I'm looking forward to like tonight. I expect the same because I'm thinking that they're not at full strength. I'm hearing that a couple of guys may not be there. Like and one Oladipo, I'm hearing he's probable. Is that what you pulled up 2.0?
I heard Oladipo is going to be day to day.
Okay, he's all right. And I just think that we're on a certain trajectory that Rose has obviously brought to the team. And I think we're gonna be okay. I expect to get this one tonight. Like I said earlier, Robinson had a great game. Because he played 20 minutes, he had 10 points and 14 rebounds. For him, that's a great game. Despite how we've been getting on him lately, he had a great game.
Thank you.
Peyton showed up. Peyton showed up with 12. With he got 12. But guys like Bullock, the Riddler, and who's the other one? Bullock, the Riddler, and Burks. Offensively, those guys didn't show up at all. Now Burks gave us some rebounds. He gave us like 8 rebounds. Mm-hmm. And Bullock had 3 rebounds and an assist. But those guys are, that's why we can't feel that we're a 3-point shooting team and playing against certain teams and think we're going to match them 3 for 3. We have decent 3-point shooters. We do not have any marksmen. Even Quigley's shot is not been as
not yet.
But I'm expecting it to develop into something. But
something potent.
Yeah. But and then on their end, it's not really much to talk about. It was just Westbrook and Matthews did a little something. But the rest of them was here and there, and we expected the W, we got the W, and I hope they just put that behind them, and let's see what they're going to do tonight. Although I expect them to do well tonight. With that, let me pass it behind the back 2 times over to my man, the Dream.
So since you went behind the back 2 times, I'm gonna Texas 2-step my way to the rim and show you some things I like. I like the 11 steals. Very nice for our defense to show up on the perimeter, get those 11 steals, and try to turn those over into points. We did have 11 fast break points. I'm not sure that one correlates into the other, but it's nice to see those type of stats. You know, it says that the team is energized and moving out. You know, they're not just being stagnant. 58 points in the paint. That's kind of Knicks basketball. We like that. You know, we shot a decent amount of threes last night. We only made I forget exactly how many. Maybe around 6 or 9. 6? Okay.
6 out of 24.
Yeah. So, but the 24 threes seems like a lot. But the number that I'm going to hit you with is a lot bigger. It's 98 field goal attempts in general. So the 24 of the 98 is not horrible. 98 to me, that's a high stat for me, I told you. But I went back and looked at it because I'm starting to wonder, is this the Derrick Rose effect? Derrick Rose comes in, frees up the offense a little bit more. We're getting easier shots, so then that increases the field goal attempts. I'll take that. I'm not going to take it in just open, threes that aren't part of our offensive scheme. I don't want to see the increase in field goal attempts. So, moving out of the 80s into the 90, it was 98 shots that we ended up taking. But with that being said, hey, man, like we've been talking about the last couple of days, that bench, boy, 49 points out of the bench. It's a lot of points. Mm-hmm. So 30 of them just came from Rose and Quickly, which is exactly what we said was going to happen when this tandem hit the floor together. They would figure it out, and you try to attack one, boom, the other one takes over for a little bit. You try to attack the other one, and within them scoring, they're still getting the other guys in the flow of the offense. So you still see Obi progressing, and Noel. They even had Randall on the floor with that unit at one point. One small thing I didn't really like, Burks putting up 20 minutes played and a donut, a 0. It's okay. I guess there's a little adjustment that has to happen, but I would like him to have some points, a couple of threes, 2 threes. 6 points is not much, but when you hit the 3, it ends up having to stretch that defense a little bit more. They didn't have much defense. They're the worst defense in the league anyway, so it was good to see we handled our business against a team that is deficient in that area. The only 2 things really that I came away was the Burks 0 points in the 20 minutes played, and Mitch's fractured hand. So Mitch's fractured hand works 2 ways for us. It's like, oh man, it's gonna hurt his progression or things of that nature. The other thing I think it really does for us this year, it takes away hurting his feelings if we want to pursue a trade to replace him at the starting 5. At the starting 5. Now we have 2 weeks to go pursue a trade if we think that's something we want to do. You guys were talking about Drummond in the past. I've talked about Daniel Tice from Boston. There's a couple other guys out there who are, on the backside of their careers. The Hassan Whitesides and the DeMarcus Cousins, they're also available in trades. But, do we want to explore those types of things? But if we wanted to bring in somebody else, if you did want to go down that Drummond avenue without, affecting Mitch's psyche so much, now's the time to do it. It would be an easy transition to anybody. I'm just throwing out those names. I'm not saying that's the guys we need to target. But outside of that, I'm good. And I'm gonna call a quick timeout. We can huddle up, get a hug in, and then go back out. I toss to the Santan.
So we got our own version of the triple B. We got Burks, Bullock, and Barrett.
Yeah.
The killer bees.
Okay. And
the kill us bees.
We need to be killer, killer, not kill us bees. That's awesome.
Unfortunately, they didn't have much of an impact yesterday, but that's okay. You can get away with that so long as we win as a team.
Yeah.
And again, you're going up against. It's unfortunate because this would have been a game for them to really step up. No different than we're expecting Mitch to step up his game or Peyton to step up his game, especially when you're going up against a bad defensive team. That's your opportunity to really step up. But hey, whatever, they killed us yesterday, but that's okay. We'll give them a pass, but they better show up tonight.
Yeah.
Because in spite of the fact that Houston is, It's got, a lot of turnover, turmoil, wins, losses, whatever the case may be. They still have a pretty good team. They got Wall. They got Boogie Cousins. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They got Oladipo, even though he's injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Wood.
what's his name?
Wood.
The shooting
Woods.
guard.
Wood's now performing for them. Christian Wood,
Wall.
and they have Gordon also.
Right, Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon. You know what I mean? So those players, when they're right, they're solid players and they should make up a good team. So in that respect, I gotta proceed with caution for tonight's game. The other thing that stood out for me in terms of the Washington game is that the Wizards shot 25% for 3-point range. And going into the game, there's a couple of players on that team that can shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But not to the point that they shot the league average in shooting threes, which is good, which is exactly the type of defense that we need to play consistently, holding teams below the league average when it comes to shooting threes and making threes. Okay? If we do that, we're going to win more games than lose them. But that's a big if. That's the big operative word, if. But that's the formula to success for the Knicks. It's not scoring more points than your opponent, or blowing them out. Let me put it that way. Obviously, you want to score one more point than your opponent to win. I get that. But the bottom line is we gotta anchor that with our defense. That has to be first and foremost, so that then the scoring becomes secondary to our defense. And then combining those two is the recipe for victory. So with that being said, I'm going to drop it to 2.0. Let's get your take, bro.
Well, I think that one of the things that we were beginning to see was the development of Mitchell Robinson coming out party. And as soon as he was looking like the promise instead of the potential, he hurts his hand. Okay, this could have been something that could have propelled him to bigger and better things. I still agree with everyone as we were chatting about the footwork and the idea of him being able to post anybody, or his inability to post anybody down low. But I attribute that the fact that the coaches are seeing what we're seeing, and that's what they're there for, is to coach him into the player that he should be or could be. And if they're not doing that, I believe that part is most of it, if not 50% of that, of his inability to develop further, is on the coaching staff. If they're allowing him to, practice, cross dribble between the leg and behind the back and shooting threes, then, somebody has to have said something to him about that, and maybe grabbed him by the ear and showed him where the lane is and where he's supposed to be standing and how he's supposed to be calling for the ball and going for a baby hook a la Brooks Lopez or whatever. What was her name? Cantor. Those guys, they just, they're not extremely offensively gifted players, but they're in the right position. And again, that has to do with coaching. I think somebody mentioned him. This is just a guy that's got high school development. Okay. He skipped college to work on his own, and now he's in the pros. I'm just a little bit disappointed that he hurt his hand. and that now is probably could possibly mean that he takes a step back. I agree. Let's go out there and get somebody, whether or not he was hurt or he's 100% or he developed into a better player. We still need a little bit more beef. Maybe we're gonna send Miss Bill Stradamus down there. You know what I'm saying? To guard the lane, because we need some
beef.
Somebody who takes up some space in there.
Well, I do weigh more than Noel, so probably.
You probably weigh more than both of them combined. I don't mean to say anything about your weight, but their weight is their weight.
I get it.
Listen, you're a more intimidating presence than they'll ever be, too.
They'll ever be. Okay, then the two of them combined will ever be.
Two of them combined.
Okay, but at any rate, we did a fantastic job yesterday, man. There's nothing to, and our coach was, for a minute there, I thought he was bringing in the guys at the end of the game, and I'm like, what's he doing that for? And then all of a sudden, with 3 minutes left in the game, is when he decided to bring in Knox with 4 minutes left, and the other two guys, Pinson and Rivers, with 3 minutes left. You should have put them in there with 5 minutes left. I mean, what was the purpose of bringing Randall back in there? What was the purpose of bringing RJ in there? Even though, let me look at his stats too, whether I want to give him the J or not. No, 8 points. I'm sorry. I'll take my J back. No J. Okay? So there was no need for them to come back in. We have another game today. I thought that in about 10 minutes into the 2-3 minutes into the fourth quarter, maybe a little more. I would say about with 8 minutes left, he could have gone with the second unit or the rest of the subs just to give these guys a rest. But everybody did play only 20-something games other than Julius Randle, who played 32. So they were all in the 20s. Again, give it up for the second unit. I think bench scoring has gotten so much stronger just because of the emergence of Derrick Rose. Okay, so having said that, I just wanted to answer the question that Bill Stradamus had about who's in and who's out. From what I'm seeing, Dante Exum, Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, and Christian Wood are all out. And all of those guys contribute to their.
And we playing at home. We got to get this.
I think we are at home.
There's no reason or excuse about it. We have to get this one.
Agree. So I'm not sure. I'll give it back to Santana. I'm not sure we want to segue into today's game and talk about what's going on, what's to expect tonight. Excuse me.
Yeah. Let me just say a quick thing about Quigley and Obi's development. So obviously right now Quigley's going through a little transition because he's trying to figure out his new role.
Right.
And in that process, his game is off a little bit because now he's picking spots, but still, when he's going to the basket, he's still trying to float, not using the backboard. He should use the backboard. It'll expand his game even more. So that indecision, I think, is a transition. Obi, it was just like Bill said. He knows that when he runs, he can get his points. It's a question of who's getting him the ball. Right. And now that Derrick is in the game and Derrick is looking for him, he's going to be that much more, effective. Mm-hmm. Finishing in the rim, finishing around the rim. And even on one, he got a rebound, went coast to coast and finished, on a breakaway. And he has that skill set. And that's why, I saw that in him very early. It was just a matter of him getting the time. And that's why I said Knox got to go and he's got to play. And sure enough, only time brought that to fruition. So with that being said, now let's move on to Houston's game. Again, with all those guys out, those are core key players on that team, but we still have to contend with Wall. We still have to contend with Boogie. Those are two, they're former superstars. And really what took that super out of their star was the injuries. Okay? This is one of these bounce back years where they're trying to prove that they're healthy and that they can take it to that next level. For Wall, he has the security of a long-term contract that's still going to pay him out a few years out. For Boogie, he's playing on a 1-year contract, so he has to ball out because he's got to position himself for that next contract. Speaking of which, in terms of the Knicks, what we're seeing with Peyton is, okay, he's on an expiring contract. He's $5 million, and he's trying to do as much as he possibly can, not only to, help the Knicks win game, but also position himself to be more marketable to other teams. Because he knows he may be on the trading block. He knows that. And so he has to really showcase his skill set to be able to go out there and say, well, look, if they're going to trade me, I want to be put in a position where teams, I want to go to a good team. And then the Knicks, we need him to play well. I know people say, bench him and all of this. You bench him, you kill the trade value, you get less in return on the trade.
Yeah.
Okay. The same thing with Mitch. Mitch had a great game. Now he gets injured. That's gonna, diminish his trade value to a certain extent. I even had suggested, because the rumors out there is Drummond this, Drummond that. I'm like, forget Drummond, I want the Fro.
Yep.
And if I can get the Fro, then I'll get the Fro. Because Drummond, I'm not gonna. I know that they're not gonna give him up, but I'm saying when people throw out Drummond out there, then I gotta put it in reality. I gotta say, if you give me the option, I'd rather get the Fro than Drummond. Because the Fro is not going to cost you. The Fro is going to make $5 million, $6 million or something like that next year. He's making $3 million right now. You know what I mean? Whereas Drummond, he's making what, 20 million?
Yeah,
20 plus?
Yeah.
And he's on a walk yet. He's looking to get paid. And I get it. I don't want to spend that money.
No. And
that's just me. But, going back to Houston, the bottom line is I do expect Boogie to have a big game, though. More so, Mitch is not there. Noel's going to have to defend him. He got a little bit more skill he has a lot more skill than Noel. He's got a little bit more weight than Noel. So it's going to be matchups to watch. That matchup and the Wall matchup. With that said, I'm going to drop it down to Dream. Let's get your take, bro.
All right. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think both teams come into this game middle of the pack towards the 8th, 9th, 10th seed around, in both leagues. So basically, you ask, could we ask for more? And the answer is yeah, we could ask for more out of this team. We need this win tonight also. We need to tell other teams in the league, listen, you're coming into New York. You're going to get a battle. We're going to bring our defense. We're going to take away things you like to do. The elite 3-point shooting teams, we haven't shut them down. But average 3-point shooting teams like this, there's a lot to be taken away from them and a lot of things we can do against them going forward, my worry tonight is Harden. Oh wait, he's not there. Westbrook. Oh wait, he's not there. Oh wait, we just beat Westbrook last night. Okay, so this is what I'm. Going forward is like they have star power, but it's like the poster on the wall star power. It's not on the floor no more. Okay, so some of these guys I don't really want to trash them too much because they're eligible for trades. And we're looking for guys that can make our team better. And a guy like Boogie Cousins potentially could do that, but he potentially could make it worse also. We know both sides of his track. When he's lazy and he doesn't want to play, he's not going to fit our coaching system or our style of play, because what we would need him to do is come here and be physical down low, get those rebounds and kick it out in a break, and then come down. Don't shoot threes. We're not here for you to shoot threes. We're trying to develop our own shooters. We don't need big guys stepping out to the 3-point line outside of Randall from time to time. And even he gets a little bit 3 happy sometimes in the game. So, how do I want to say this?
Say it.
What is that?
Say it. I don't know what it is. Say it.
Yeah, no. It's just
say it with your chest, bro.
I'm not scared of this team. I don't want to say, I don't like to jump out on these teams and say, I'm not scared of them because, of all their loss. Because of the guys that they have, they always still have this star potential to blow up for a game. So, we handle our business on the defensive end and on the offensive end, and I think we'll be okay. I'm just going to kick it around. I'll think about what I want to say next. Through the legs, Bill Shadamas.
Thank you. Power slam and 1. I expect tonight's game to be much like last night's game. Probably not as big of a blowout because of the fact they have 2 of their guys there as opposed to the Wizards. They had 1 of their guys, 1 of their 2 main guys. They still have 2 of their main cast of characters. So I expect much of the same. I expect them, I expect Boogie to have a, I don't know, game, like Dream was saying. But I expect him to have a decent to pretty good game. And I expect Wall to, to try to do what he does. But I think we had too much for them. I don't think they have an answer for Randall. And they definitely don't have an answer for Rose. So I'm expecting another win. And off to the next one, whoever that is after them. So with that being said, which way am I going with it? Let me drop a bounce pass to 2.0.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. I think most importantly, it's going to be our second unit that is going to once again come to the rescue. They can possibly match up with us because Boogie and Wall offset at least 3/5 of our offense. Especially if R comes with the no J, then it's like it's a wash. But when it comes to the second unit, and they have to bring in their second unit, I say that we go on a rampage. Okay? Because, what we have is a starting point guard coming off the bench, and even more, I'm more scared of him than I am of our starting point guard. Our starting point guard doesn't scare me, so that means he doesn't scare any other team either. But when you come in there with Rose, it's like, oh man, it's like that great philosopher Mark Jackson once said, "Mama, there goes that man again." Mm-hmm. Okay, it's like that is what I thought the minute that we got him the last time, and I've always felt that way. That Rose is the type of player that, especially now, he knows he's only going to give you 15 minutes. So he's going to give you 100% for those 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about much because he's not going to be putting 30, 35 minutes in the game. And that's just fine because he'll go 6 for 9, 4 for 5, mm-hmm. or 3 here and there. And assist and push. Make those young guys run. Okay. And so it's going to be the battle of the second units. And, especially being that we're on the second game of a back-to-back, that second unit has to come and produce. And I'm looking forward to Quigley finding his shot again. He's thinking, he's overthinking now, While when he was on that roll a couple of weeks ago, or last week, or however long ago it was, he was just throwing it up there, man. It's like, like he was the Iceman all over again, just finger rolling up there or something. And everything was going in for him because he was just letting it fly, you know. And now, I guess, like Santana mentioned, you know, it's affecting him having Rose, even though Rose tried to allay some of those worries. Don't worry, son, you know, just let the game come to you. Relax, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that, you know, that type of encouragement is going to bring him back to what he showed us in that first couple of weeks of the season. So, you know, we know that he has it. He has the three. He has the floater. He goes to the line. And that's what he needs to do. Because once you go to the line and you start seeing the ball going through the net, then you go, you know, oh, all right, I got this. And that's going to be the game, man. That's going to be the game. I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more out of Alec Burks, who plays with that unit too. But that's the unit. So I'm going to no look pass behind the neck to Santana.
You know, I think in terms of Burks, I'm not too worried about Burks. I'm more worried about the Riddler.
Yeah.
The Riddler is Jekyll and Hyde, you know, to the infinity power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one game he's, oh man, we got our guy. You know, he's the second coming. He's our second option. The next game, what happened? What happened? You know what I mean? So I'm more concerned about him than Burks. Because the thing with the Riddler is he has the potential. It's just figuring it out on a consistent way. He had a stretch there where he was playing consistent ball, and then he had a bad game, and since then it's been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And even when he goes to the basket, I mean, he's still not squaring up. He's shooting, he's laying it up in an angle. His body's off and his shot is off. You know what I mean? It is off. He needs to work on squaring up. Because if he squares up, he's going to be more consistent. When he's shooting at an angle, it's unpredictable. And more times than not, he misses. And so, you know, I'm sure, you know, the coaches see that if we see it and we're not his coaches and we're not dealing with him on a day-to-day basis, I'm sure they see it. It's just a matter of him making that adjustment, making it part of his routine. You know what I mean? Routine in basketball is a good thing because that is like Ray Allen. You know, I'm sure if you guys picture Ray Allen's shot, that didn't just happen. That was work in the gym, you know, shooting 1,000, 2,000 threes, that it became natural to him. And that's where the Riddler.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna give him that second letter, man. I wasn't gonna give him
letter.
the R. That's where the R hasn't been. You know what I mean? He's not there yet. He has to get his game to that level. That he's doing something so much that when you get out on the court, it just happens naturally. It's like riding a bike. When you first start riding, you know, you're shaky. But once you get into that rhythm, boom, you're good. You're locked in. You're in the pocket. This cat is not in the pocket yet. Until he gets there, we won't know how good he's gonna be. Good. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you were saying because I'm not sure exactly where I heard this, but somebody was commenting on his mindset, and they were saying that it could be that he's still affected by the fact that we were supposed to get Williamson, and that he came in here trying to prove that he was going to be just as good for us as the fact that we lost the opportunity to get the one that we wanted, that he wasn't our first choice. You know, it's like, you know, he's you know, like he's not the girl that we really wanted to marry, So now she has to prove something to us that she's just as good as the girl that we didn't get. That's just something I heard in passing in conversation.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to prove that he's just as good as the number one that we thought we were going to get.
And that may be true, but he needs to get past that.
Yeah, please.
He needs to get past that. He's at a point right now that it's about the craft. Develop your game. But go ahead, Dream, because I know you want to say something.
Yeah, it's just real quick. So this is another thing I guess we could look at as to what happens to him after that streak that he was on. He ran up against Utah and Donovan Mitchell and Ingles. Then he ran up against the Clippers, which is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. We know what happened there.
But he did good. He did good in that game, though. Against the Clippers, he did good.
No, I'm saying he's being battle tested. So he's gonna have his good times and his bad. What I'm saying is that he's going against the best in the league now. Before he caught that streak, he wasn't, that might have carried over 1 or 2 games through this, but we've seen like a little downtrend. And it's because he's just seeing tougher defenders and players and better players, the Levines of the world the last 2 games, the Butlers of the world the last 2 games against Miami. So and then yesterday not so much, but what I'm saying is he's seeing those elite defenders now. And so he's making another adjustment to his game too, So I don't know that I'm on board with the psyche portion of the Barrett thing. I think I personally want to think he's stronger than that. Plus, he wanted to come play here because his dad played in New York, that kind of thing, St. John's or something like that, right? So, I always just felt like he's just working his way through his progression to become that great player. Every year he'll add something type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when we started out this show early in the season, I referred to him as James Harden light. Not exactly like James Harden because James Harden took a couple of years, 3 years to develop his game, and then 2 years in Houston developing his jump shot. So, but he has those type of things like the lefty, the drive to the basket, the dog in him. He has those things that Harden has to his game. You just need to unlock that now. So as we get better as a team, that will start to unlock itself also. That's it.
Good, Bill Stradamus.
Listen, I'm not worried about the Riddler at all. It's just fun getting on him as we're watching him develop.
Yes.
Who called me last night? Des. He called me last night, and we were talking about that. And I was saying, although we get on the Riddler or whatever, I think we would be foolish to trade him or anything like that. I think this guy is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
He's in my opinion, he's better than he was last season. I mean, he didn't even play a full season. I think it was stated that he's played a total of 82 games as of this point now.
Okay.
So therefore, and then we noticed we didn't have a camp prior to this season, and last season was cut short. And he's 20, 21 years old, maybe. Listen, I'm not worried about him because he has the seemingly he has the dog in him, and I know he's going to work on his game. That part we know that he has in him. It's just developing certain things that he doesn't have and doesn't do well. He needs to work on that jump shot. After this season, he needs to maybe, I don't know if he needs a coach to do this or a particular past player, or I don't know what he needs.
Steve Nash is right there in Brooklyn.
Well, he needs that, and he needs to put the time in.
Yeah,
as stated about Ray Allen. Ray Allen was in that gym shooting his 1,000 or whatever shots a day.
That was a great point.
That's what the Riddler needs to do, and go into the hole. I tell you, I made this observation before. Excuse me. He finishes with both hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excuse me. It's just his decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to be all right. And I'm worried about now when Knox starts to get a little more run. Is he going to revert back to I have to prove that I can play and just start launching because he did it yesterday. He did it. I saw he got the ball. They were moving it around. It touched him, and he was further out than everybody else that was moving it around. He just launched it. Since I'm having this little problem, I'm going to pass it down low to the dream.
Yeah.
To the dream.
Oh, hey.
Oh, I'm a hockey assistant right over the 2.0. Go ahead. Boom. Left hand touch.
Okay, I think that basically Barrett needs to give up the trying to shoot 3-pointers for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Just relax that stuff. You know, he does great when he goes to the basket. Like Bill Stradamus says, he can put it with the right, he can put it with the left. He has the Euro step. He can do things around there. He can even take that baby jumper, man, from around the foul line and, you know, foul line extended. But then when he steps out into the 3-point, his percentages go way down. And I don't know whether these guys look at these things, you know. But if I look at my own numbers and I see that I'm shooting 25% from 3-point, but I'm shooting 50% from within, you know, 50 feet, and then I'm like, yo, let me focus my game on that for a while. You know, why even bother taking the 3? You know, like fake a 3, give a pass, cut to the lane, get it back, and, you know, do whatever you can in there. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, we're not in their heads. They make their own decisions. They feel confident in that they're going to make it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be shooting it. You know, their jobs are on the line. So, you know, you keep on taking those 3s, knowing that you can't make them, and you're going to be replaced with Knox, you know, or even Bullock will get your minutes. And you're going to go from your 30 minutes a game to 15 and 16 minutes a game, even though you're a starter, quote unquote. And, you know, that's about it for now with regards to, you know, those areas. I'm not really happy to even have to have a conversation about the fact that maybe Knox and Rivers are going to get more time now. But this is a numbers game. It's, you know, it's next man up. I mean, they have no choice. They have to bring somebody in from in there. But the fact that they weren't giving us that much prior to this injury means that I'm bringing somebody with a history of not giving me too much. So what am I to expect? That these guys are just going to continue to do the crazy shake and bake, you know, and shake your head and shoot it. Like if you shake your head, the defender is going to you're going to break the defender's knees or ankles. Oh, wow, look at that. He shakes his head. And so, you know, I'm hoping that to get more out of those 2 guys, because those are the 2 that are probably going to take the minutes, you know, other than Taj. Of course, now Taj is going to be coming in. It's going to be Taj and Noel. And then you're going to have to either, I don't know what they're going to do when they bring in the small unit. What, Randall's going to play the 5?
Yeah, he's going to have to play some 5.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. They showed us that yesterday.
Okay, so then
That's why he tried that out yesterday.
Maybe that's why he came in at the end of the game with that second unit. And he
Earlier
was playing the 5.
Yeah, he was playing the 5.
That's right.
Run with them.
And he got that nice pass from Quigley, man, cutting to the basket. So, okay, I can see that. I can see how that can happen now. He'll have to play some 5, maybe with the second unit, or maybe Taj. Well, Taj has to come in the first unit with substitute, not the first unit, but with the first unit to substitute for Noel. All right. So
hope
take
Noel
away.
don't go down because Noel is kind of fragile. So just wanted to add that. Hope Noel don't go down because he's kind of fragile.
Yeah.
And I think he has some knee issues. So hope those issues don't surface within these next 8 weeks.
Okay.
So that's all.
So he should be on minutes restriction.
Possibly.
Okay. I hear you. Take it away, Santana.
So this is the thing. So, you guys brought up a few things. Knox and Rivers and potentially getting more minutes here and there. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to get a few more minutes. Now, I think if they do get a few more minutes, Captain Hook will pull them if they're not producing. The purpose of actually playing them at this point in time or this junction of the season is hopefully for them to play good and for them to be able to increase their trade value. Okay? As a coaching staff, you got to look at it that way. If they're not producing on the floor, you got to pull them because it doesn't help you. It doesn't help your trade value. It doesn't help the team win. So I'm saying they're going to be on a short lease. Hopefully, between Taj Gibson and Noel, we'll be able to shore up the center position because Taj is a veteran. He knows how to play. He's not going to try to do more than what he can do. And that's good. Yeah. Sometimes when you get players that they want to do more than what they actually can, it's harder to coach a guy like that. It's easier to coach a guy that plays, knows his strengths and weaknesses, and what we can tell him as a coach to do is be the best that you can be in your role. Mm-hmm. Like with Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman back in the day, he was the best in his role. He was a rebounder. He played great defense, and he was a rebounder. And he not only was he great in his role, but he was great in the entire league as a rebounding prowess for the Knicks. I'm not sorry, not for Chicago, for Detroit, and stuff like that. Huh? So I say that to say, with Barrett, he has to get to that level of thinking in terms of his game. Do what you do well and try to excel at doing that. We'll worry about the 3-point at another date. That you could develop, but do what you do well, because that can help us win. Don't shy away from it. Don't try to be creative and get pretty and fancy and do the other stuff. No, give us the meat and potatoes, bro. Give us the goods. Give us the meat, not the bones. We don't want to be bone collectors. We want the meat, okay? Give us your best. And worry about the other stuff later, okay? And let the coaches be able to say, okay, now let me bring this guy. We need a little bit of this. We need a little bit of that to complement you, okay? So that's my take on it. Now let's transition into what do we predict as a score for this game. So I'm gonna do a nice little bounce pass to Dream so he can, do his thing. Go ahead, rock.
I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling like Vince Carter coming down the lane on Alonzo Mourning. I'm just going to hang up here for an extra 2 seconds.
Ooh, that's a nasty dunk.
So yesterday we all had a bunch of predictions, and they all pretty much fell into place. I think Bill Shadamas was the only one to predict under 100 points, so I'm going to give you those big ups. I think it was you, correct? Under 100? Good for you. So today being said, we had 2 people under 100? Oh, you're agreeing. Okay.
No, I'm the only one. 110 to 98.
Oh, it was 98 that was set under 100? I thought it was maybe it was the other game, the game before. Okay, so I'll give you your kudos. Go ahead. Good for you too, all right? Everybody gets this. So that being said, we're going to battle. These guys are coming to us today. Let's protect that garden floor, man. Let's do what we do. Let's bring our defense. They score about 109 a game. We constantly hold teams to 5 points less than what they produce. So we'll knock that down to 105. And then we get a little bit extra on what we do. We still only scoring 102 a game, but lately we've been on a little bit better streak, getting more production from the bench, and the offense is flowing a little freer. So I'm going to push this up 112, 109 Knicks. And we take this next one in on the next couple of game ride here for some W's. And that being said, I'm going to spin the ball on my finger and kick it down the lane 2.0.
No question about it. Okay, by the way, the latest information says that Wall is day-to-day.
Yeah, I've been watching that.
as well as PJ Tucker. So Wood, Exum, Oladipo out. Wall day to day because of an ankle, and ankle are not a good thing when it comes to playing basketball. They may not bother you so much when you're doing synchronized swimming, but when you gotta do basketball, you gotta be on the court and cutting and pivoting and playing defense. Ankles are very treacherous. You don't want to have any ankle issues. So, given that, I'm sticking to the same score as last night. 110-98. We hold them down.
Nice.
Yes. Take it away, Bill Stradamus.
Thank you. I'm feeling a lot like last night as well. And I put down a score here, but I'm going to even reduce their score even more.
Okay.
I'm going to go New York, 118.
Oh, wow.
Rockets, I'll give them over 100. 107.
Okay.
118, 107.
Up by 11. Okay.
With that being said, who didn't go yet? I'm going to pass it over to my man, Santana. Give us a score.
This is the thing. I'm looking at their rankings. On the offensive end, of course, they rank 21st in the league in team offense. But on the defensive end, they rank 8th. They're not the Washington Wizards on the defensive end of the floor. Okay? So, I have to take that into account in my prediction for this game. And I would say it's going to be a closer game than the Wizard game. Because obviously you got Boogies, you got Wall, okay, with the tricky ankle, it could be a question mark. But we'll see. We'll see. You know what I mean? Still,
We at the crib, Poppy. We at the crib.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that. But obviously there's been an improvement defensively. Remember, this team last year was under D'Antoni. Mm-hmm. And obviously they don't play any D. And yet this year they've improved. And they got a new coach and they've had so much turnover. So you don't dismiss that. I can't dismiss that. Especially 8th. If they were middle of the pack or the lower, echelon of the NBA, then maybe. But they're 8th. So, I got to give them some due respect there, in spite of the fact that we should be more dominant at home. But we're coming off a back-to-back too. I mean, this is a back-to-back too for us. So, I'm factoring those two factors there. That being said, I'll say 110-105 Knicks.
Okay.
No trap game for you? No trap game. Okay.
No?
All right, guys.
I thought you was going to come out with
I'm impressed. Hey,
Houston was going to win after all of that.
You was going to pull the traps antenna, and I thought 2.0 was going to say the back-to-back. And I thought for sure there was 2 L's coming today.
I did mention the back-to-back. I still feel, though, that we're a different team. It's a different team, man.
It really is a different team because you have Rose for the third quarter.
It's day and night
in the third quarter. Maybe we won't have that lapse now.
Yeah.
Or
he's shoring up that third quarter. You're absolutely correct because in the past, the third quarter was our Achilles heel,
especially on the back-to-backs.
Yes,
because then the first half energy is wiped after that 15 minutes you sit down for the for the halftime break. The body never recovers for some reason. Yeah. Our bodies never recover.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Isn't Kevin Porter Jr. over there?
Yeah, he's there.
He still signed with Houston. I think he is something like that.
Yeah, has he been playing?
I have no idea. I have not even been tracking him. I haven't heard any noise, so it hasn't given me a reason to track him.
Ben McLemore's over there as well.
Ben McLemore,
Kenyon Martin Jr. I'm just looking for I'm just looking for spoilers.
Looking for the guy that's
Yeah.
going to do it, right? Yeah.
Spoilers.
Okay. Kevin Porter Jr. and Ben McLemore will probably be the two. And Kenya Martin.
And Eric Gordon still is there.
He's always there.
He's he's no slouch at all. I think he's averaging maybe 17 points a game. Or actually, no, I read that in the last 10 games, he's been dropping 17 a game. Okay. But I'm okay. We still got to get this.
Yeah, it's in our interest to continue the momentum. You know,
we got to stop this because what we have coming up is Atlanta, Orlando, San Antonio. These are winnable games. People we've beaten in the past. So we clear this one. Let's go get a couple more. Now February is starting to shape up like I said it would. Right now we just breaking even, 3-3. You know, but we're playing close games. We could have very easily been 5-1 out of these 6 games.
Exactly. So, we're playing close games. We're hovering around 500. We're in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
You know, that's tangible. That's not wishful thinking as we would have been last year. And as a matter of fact, I think it was Clyde or somebody in the broadcast said, you know, for the Knicks to get 12 wins last year, it took them 44 games.
Right.
This year, we're 20-something games in,
26,
and we already got 12 wins. That's an improvement in and of itself, and that's more.
Right.
And that's it. And it's coaching. We agreed it's coaching because a lot of it was the same players.
Yeah.
So they just enhanced those players and taught them to do what they do best, like we were talking about earlier. Do what you do, perfect that.
Exactly.
And bring that to the team, and that's what you do on the team now. You know, like
exactly. And that's why I always got to mess with Henry. I got to do it. I got to do it.
Yeah,
don't hold me back.
Playoffs. The P word.
Playoffs.
Listen, speaking of which, you got, according to my calculation, 45 games of the season. We've won 12. So you're saying that out of the next 45 games, in order for you to reach your goals of 35, 36, and 37 games, you got to at least win 24 of those 45.
February was important
that
to me.
Is 50% of the game that you have to win from now to the end. This is the month we're going to make up?
At some point, if my prediction is going to come true for the 37 games, we have to go on a 5-game winning streak. And it's this month that has to happen. So we don't know what the schedule is going to be. They haven't released the second half of the season schedule yet. So I can only go with what's in front of us. And when I saw February, I said, wow, this is a month we could take an advantage of and make a push if we're going to be serious about what we talk about.
Preach, Dream Pete, preach.
Yeah. Well,
New York.
I think you guys
I got my fatigues. I'm ready to fight.
You are great for giving people hope.
Why not?
So let's hope.
Hope.
The next 45.
We're hearing the pessimism.
Guess his J back. We will be okay.
Listen.
No, he doesn't have to. He could play bully ball. He could play bully ball and be effective and not be relying on the J.
No. But I'm saying getting the J back means playing to his strength, not shooting threes, not necessarily making J's, going to the hole and getting to the line.
Well, I don't know. In his mind, it may mean him shooting threes. That's why I don't give him the J.
And no J.
I don't give him the J.
No, that's not my interpretation.
Forget about the J. And tell the Riddler get rid of the question mark, and then we'll be good. That's it. I need the 9 on his jersey, not the question mark. That's what I need.
The Riddler.
Exactly.
Yes. When he's a Riddler, he puts a question mark on his jersey instead of the 9.
He had the question mark.
See, you guys got them all confused. It is a question mark. It's not a 9.
It's not a 9. That's what I say. Yeah.
Exactly. But Henry, listen to this, okay? So I hear your point in terms of the overall breakdown of the numbers and stuff like that. Okay, but let's look at this from last year's perspective. Last year, we have Fizdale and we have Miller. They won 21 games, but it took them the entire season, even if it was shortened, to get to those 21 games. This year, we got a much better coach, a team that's playing defense, a team that believes it can win,
Mhm.
a team that is playing much, much better, they're going to eclipse that 21 by at least another minimum 13 games. Minimum.
That's what you need. You need another 10, another 9 to make it to the 21, and then another 13,
Yeah.
right, to
Yeah.
make it to the 34.
Yeah.
But
And
you need another 15 or 16 to make it to 37 that you claim they were going to win.
yeah, 35, 37. Listen, I'm with you, Dream. I'm with you. I'm sticking with you, brother. I'm sticking with you. You got to believe, man.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer, man. And I'm sticking with it, bro.
I appreciate that.
King says 37. I gotta go with the king.
Keep hope alive.
Keep up alive.
So, gentlemen and ladies, if you're listening on the chat, thank you once again for joining us. It's been real. I don't know how true it is, but it's been real. And as we always say at the end of our program, once a Knick,
always a Knick.